New Jersey Democratic Senator Cory Booker broke the record for the longest Senate speech in history. Booker stood on the floor for 25 hours and 5 minutes, where he focused on contesting President Trump's agenda. Let's listen to somewhat of what he had to say during his historic filibuster.
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. People are saying this country once made itself the envy of the world because we invested in high-quality education for every child. I don't like what's going on at the end of the Department of Education. People are saying I worked harder than I ever have, but the prices on everything in my life are getting higher. People who are saying that the America I learned about in school, the one where people's rights are protected, the people are saying that why are we yet again going through another healthcare battle that threatens millions of people? The people are saying that I'm worried about the financial security and the future of my country.
Democrats, of course, celebrated his accomplishment. Here is Senator Chuck Schumer applauding Booker.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
Booker also discussed the economy.
He promised to lower your grocery prices, they're higher. He promised, I'll be a better steward of the economy. It's worse than we inherited. Over and over, he's breaking promises and doing outrageous things like disappearing people off of American streets, violating fundamental principles of this document, invoking the Alien Enemies Act from the 1700s that was last used to put Japanese Americans in internment camps? Do we see what's happening? How much is enough?
And lastly, here is more of Booker on President Trump and Elon Musk.
We have a president who's come in, and one of the first things he's done in 71 days is insinuate fear and insecurity about Social Security by threatening it, by telling lies about it, and by having somebody like Elon Musk calling it a Ponzi scheme, and that's why we get fear. And then they take a hatchet to the actual agency that undermines its ability to deliver service in a good way.
The senator who previously held the record before Booker was Strom Thurmond. In 1957, Thurmond filibustered against the Civil Rights Act. His speech lasted a total of 24 hours and 18 minutes. It's an ironic twist, considering Booker himself is on the opposite side of the civil rights spectrum. Here is Booker on MSNBC last night.
To be candid, Strom Thurmond's record always kind of just really irked me, that he would be the longest speech, that the longest speech on our great Senate floor was someone who was trying to stop people like me from being in the Senate.
Booker's office says his speech got more than 350 million likes on his TikTok stream. Former Vice President Kamala Harris wrote on X, "The true measure of a leader is not based on who you beat down, but on who you lift up." For over 24 hours, my friend Cory Booker stood on the floor of the Senate and lifted up the voices of the American people harmed by the current administration.
Here is political consultant Frank Luntz on News Nation last night.
Democrats are energized, but are they energized in running in a circle and fighting with each other, or are they energized in a direction?
They're going crazy right now. And they're going crazy because they don't see leadership in their own party. And I want to emphasize, what Cory Booker did over the last 24 hours may have changed the course of political history. That speech puts Cory Booker as one of the leaders for the Democratic Party, 2028, and I'll go even further. If you ask Democratic senators right now who they'd rather have lead them over the next 3 years, they would choose Cory Booker over Chuck Schumer. That's how significant today was.
Meanwhile, former Senator Kristen Sinema took a shot at Booker, writing on X, "Maybe it," referring to the filibuster, "isn't an old Jim Crow relic after all." And podcaster Josie Glayback, known as the redheaded libertarian, wrote on X, "Rand Paul marathon filibustered the Patriot Act. Cory Booker marathon filibustered Orange Man bad." Senator Lisa Murkowski wrote, "Whether you agree with him or not, the past 24-plus hours was what most people think a filibuster actually looks like. Congratulations to Senator Booker for his historic feat while staying on his feet." How cute.
I thought it was fabulous. You know, when I first heard about it and first saw it, I thought, oh, these performative actions. But it wasn't just a performative action. First of all, what this man had to do with his own body to prepare himself, purposely dehydrate himself in order to do this, the physical exertion, and I think that it was a very inspiring move. I saw somebody say, but it didn't accomplish anything. It accomplished a lot. It inspired us on our side. It inspired us not only...
Weren't you already inspired?
Pardon?
Weren't you already inspired, Marianne?
Well, some of us were, but I think a lot of... We've been beaten down. You guys have been having a lot of wins recently, been coming at us really strong. We've been, you know, we've been dispirited. And yesterday, between Susan Crawford winning in Wisconsin and what Cory Booker did, I agree with Frank Luntz. It's a new day. We're coming back, and on a very serious level. I agree with Frank Luntz, and I haven't always been a Cory Booker. I mean, I've liked him as a person, but I thought what he did was so strong, and he deserves all the kudos he's receiving. And I know that your side won't be particularly excited about it. As a matter of fact, I can see where your side would be pretty worried about it, because he gave a shot in the arm to every Democrat, and not just Democrats, but to look at the Lisa Murkowski comment, who she's the Republican woman who I'm so proud of.
I'm not worried in the slightest
yes,
about it,
she's
but
standing up. It was a good
him.
night. Good night for us. Glory and kudos and all praise to Cory Booker. That's what I say.
Yeah, Cory Booker is far from my least favorite Democratic senator. In fact, he used to be one of my favorite Democratic senators, I would say. He used to have some policy ideas that were more independent-oriented or even libertarian-oriented, particularly on the education front, where he used to be a stronger supporter of school choice initiatives that people on my side of the aisle like. He did backpedal on a lot of that when that became a less popular stance to take. I mean, Barack Obama used to be a supporter of that as well. He got pulled, I think, leftward by the teachers union. So that's unfortunate, but he's a good speaker. He was one of the people in the Democratic Party slightly more willing to call out the fact that Joe Biden was like not in such good shape to run for re-election, along with Castro. So, you know, more power to him. I think he makes more sense as the leader of the party than he's displaying more energy than Chuck Schumer. But it's still all kind of vibes, and vibes are fine. You're entitled to your good vibes. I don't want to yuck your yum, but I don't think it matters all that much. And yeah. I have no like for Strom Thurmond, so I don't care that his record was broken. I will point out that people like Rand Paul, who we're going to interview today, have done a filibuster in favor of a specific issue, like not reauthorizing provisions of the Patriot Act that I think you and I probably very much agree on. And so I was happy to, so that should not be forgotten. But, you know, go off. Go off, King. I don't care.
Trump has given us so many issues to be against, and so we had an entire agenda to come after. You know, I appreciate that you would be trying to rain on our parade today, Robby.
I'm not really raining. I got a little tiny umbrella for you, so you don't get your hair wet.
All good today. All good today.
All right. Coming up next, new revelations about Hunter Biden's laptop. We'll ask Michael Schellenberger about them. Stay tuned.